is Friday night, Hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece. This is Friday night, Hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece. Exploring limitless opportunities, illuminate our path, amplify our impact. Oh, it's Friday night Hangout. Ooh, it's Friday night Hangout. It's safe space for ideation. This is Friday. This is Friday night, Hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece. This is Friday night, Hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece. Exploring limitless opportunities, illuminate our path, amplify our impact. Oh, it's Friday night Hangout. Ooh, it's Friday night Hangout. It's safe space for ideation.
Are you feeling stuck in your business, professional or personal life? Or are you struggling to find purpose and direction? Imagine having a clear sense of direction, achieving your goals and living a fulfilling life. Joy ONYESOH Coaching Consult is here to help you. We will work with you to identify your strengths, overcome obstacles, and develop a personalized plan to achieve your dreams. With our coaching and consulting services, you will gain clarity, confidence, and the tools you need to succeed. Do not let fear, lack of clarity, or doubt hold you back any longer. Take the first step towards achieving your goals and living your best life. Contact Joy ONYESOH Coaching Consult today. Joy ONYESOH Coaching Consult, empowering you to reach your full potential. Call, SMS, or WhatsApp +234 704 229 1171. Or you can visit our website www.joyonyesohcoachingconsult.com. Friday night Hangout with Joy ONYESOH. A very happy new year to you. Yeah, because this is the first episode we're having this 2026. And who is excited? I am, because we have a lot of stuff for you in 2026. The topic today says aligning for growth. This is very important if you want to start the year strong. But before we dive right into the conversations this night, you know how we do it here. Just in the comment section, #TGIF, and then let's know where you're joining in from, how you're doing, what you want to be celebrated for, what your reflection are. Just make sure you use the comment section. Feel free. We want to read from you. And if this is your first time joining us, this is the Friday night Hangout, where we have topical conversations on, on personal development, professional development, and business development. So we have very key conversations here. And of course, we do bring in periodically guests to shed more light to explore some of these topical issues. And so tonight, we're going to be talking about, aligning for growth. But before we do that, I want you to type #TGIF, and you can also join us on YouTube. I know some of you don't know that. We have Friday Night Hangout channel on YouTube, actually. So you can subscribe to it, and you would never miss any episode in this 2026. So welcome once more. And we're going to dive right into the conversations tonight. When we talk about aligning for growth, what does that really mean? Now, if you take a deep breath and reflect, one of the things we all do want this year is of course, everyone wants to have long life. We all want to be successful. Some of us have set out our goals. Some of us are still working out on the goals. But whatever it is, it's all aligned or it's all talking about growth. Now, when we're talking about aligning for growth, we're talking about being intentional about your growth. And what does this mean? Let me share a story with you. You know, back in the days when my tire of my cars get bad, and then my husband would buy new tires and would say, "Oh, make sure you tell the driver, make sure you take the car for alignment." I was wondering why all these feels about taking the car to the workshop to make sure the tires are aligned, right? At the time, I got to realize that it's very important. So this might be even a lesson for some of us watching this. At the time I got to realize that when you fix in new tires and you don't take the tires for alignment, what happens is that it increases the friction. It's you don't have the tear and wear on the tires would not be even. And most importantly, the tires will not walk in the same direction. We're having some kind of friction resistance. So what that alignment does is make sure that your tires are moving in the right direction. When you turn your wheel, everything goes to where it's supposed to go to if you're using a four-wheel drive or whatever wheel drive you're using, right? And this is the same thing with our lives. So if you want to have intentional growth, you need to make sure that your life is aligned. What does that mean? It means that your values, the actions you take, your environment, your goals must all be steering you in the same direction. And why this is important is just that, just like the car, if your life is in alignment, what happens is it reduces the inner conflict that you have. You know how sometimes you're doing one thing, but inside of you, oh, this is not what I want to do. I wish I'm doing this thing else. And so the motivation to show up will not be there. Let me share another story with you. There was a time when, and this is maybe like 15, 16 years ago, even more, 2008, 2009. Yeah, I was into selling of clothes, selling of perfumes. And honestly, inside of me, I knew this is not what I want to do. But I was just doing it because I just wanted to do business. I was doing a whole lot of things at the same time. Now, looking back, one of the things I can share with us is my life wasn't in alignment then. I was having this inner conflict. Showing up was always a problem because that wasn't the future I saw for myself. Now, don't get me wrong. Let me put a balance here. It's okay to do what your hands finds to do for the time being while you're saving up or while you're planning for what it is you eventually want to do, right? But the key thing is having a clear understanding what your goal is, what your future direction is, and what your values are. Now, let's unpack this a little bit more. Now, when we talk about alignment in mindset, alignment in action, alignment in your environment, right? Alignment in values. What we're talking about is this. In mindset, we want to make sure that your thoughts and your beliefs, that they support the goal you set for yourself. So what goals have you set for yourself, maybe for this first quarter or for 2026? And I want you to watch and see that the thoughts you have, the belief that you hold, that they support you actualizing those goals. For instance, some of us believe that when you see someone who is successful, particularly a woman, that it means she must have done something very bad. She's sleeping with men or she's doing one funny thing, meaning that a woman can be successful, by her own efforts. Now, if you have that kind of belief system as a woman, what does it mean? And then you want to be successful. So you see that your thoughts and your beliefs do not align with the goal you set for yourself. Because it means that as a woman, if you are visionary, if you want to be high achieving, then it means in your own belief system, you need to do something that is not right. You need to do something that doesn't sit with your morals. Meanwhile, that's not the case. There are millions of women who are doing amazingly well by their efforts, by the support they have from their support system and their networks. So you have to watch the thoughts and the beliefs that you have. If you're one who believes that no one can be wealthy without soiling their hands in negative things, then how do you think you can be wealthy? So your thoughts and your belief will determine how far you actualize the goals that you have, right? So this is just some instances. So you need to watch your thoughts, watch your beliefs, because the Bible makes us understand that out of the abundance of our hearts, what happens? The mouth speaks. So what you confess, what you believe, invariably is going to affect the actions that you take. And that's why you also need to watch your actions. Do your actions, the choices that you make every day, do they move you forward towards your goal, or are they distracting you? The things you take every day, there is a process. In achieving your goals, in achieving your dreams, there is a process. And the process is the daily actions that you take. Having that self-discipline to show up even when you don't feel like. Having this self-discipline to do what you need to do. Yes, and having the self-discipline to say no to the things that you should not do, saying no to distractions. So there has to be a synergy right there. You now move into your values. What truly matters to you? What is most important to you? Now, if you're one that says health is on my top list for 2026, I want to make sure I'm healthy. I want to keep myself healthy spiritually, physically, mentally, and all of that. Then you want to look at your actions. Am I exercising? Am I having my physical workouts? Am I having my mental exercises? What you don't use will become redundant. So if you don't exercise your brain, if you don't stretch it, if you don't stretch the capacity, what happens is that it becomes, docile. You find it difficult. Some of us, with this new age we are in, where we have AI, we have a whole lot of technology we can use. Some of us have gotten mentally lazy. We don't exercise our brains. We don't push ourselves. We don't want to think critically. It's so easy to just go to the phone and just go to ChatGPT, and you're doing all of that. And we're having a staff retreat this year. When we're having staff retreat this year, and even last year, I was telling my young team member, I said, see, technology can be a trap, but it can also be an advantage. The key is maintaining a balance in how you use it. So you want to make sure that you keep yourself mentally alert. You want to make sure that your values of integrity speak for you, right? You don't want to put up work that you did not do and present it as yourself, as if you've done it. So we are using a lot of technology these days, and sometimes we copy people's work, we don't give credit, we do a lot of things. So you really need to look at your values. How is your values aligned to the future you, to your journey of becoming? How is it aligned? How does it ensure that you achieve your goals? So whatever is valuable to you, you want to prioritize. So when you're setting your priorities for the month, for the week, for the day, your priorities are what truly matters. And that's a litmus test. So even if you set out your goal for the year, you still need to break it down into actionable, points. So anything you cannot actualize, anything you cannot break down into small steps, you will struggle with it. So I usually talk about the divide and conquer rule. You want to break down things and see how you want to do it. So you have a big goal. For instance, if your goal is to lose 10 kg this 2026, then what do you want to do? You want to break it down to say 10 kg. On an average, how many kg should I be losing in a month? You work that out. Okay, if I need to lose this kg in a month, what do I need to do? I need to watch my diet. I need to work out. I need to, a whole lot of lifestyle change and all of that. So all these small daily habits are what, enables you to move towards your goal. And that's where the alignment becomes very important. Now, alignment is very important because it boosts your focus, it boosts your productivity, it helps you to reduce internal conflict, and of course, it gives you clarity. It gives you clarity. So where you're in a point where you don't have a deep understanding of what you want to do, I'll say pause and think through the whole picture, from your values to the goals you're setting. How are you setting intentional goals? Meaning that you're very deliberate. You're paying attention to the choices that you make. You're not just taking actions because you want to take actions. You want to make sure that the actions you're taking actually would move you towards the desired goal. I want you to pause and think about a time where you struggled. You really struggled to show up. You really struggled to make decisions. You really struggled to take actions. Can you think about, just listening to this conversation now, what's coming through for you? Perhaps is it lack of clarity? Were you feeling overwhelmed? Is it because you have no clue as to what next to do, or you don't even have the strategy as to how you want to implement things? Because when you are aligning for growth, you're also looking at the big picture while taking the small daily steps that will move you towards those big pictures. You would know when to say no, use the power of your no. Some of us don't know how to use no. We feel guilty. We feel that, oh, we cannot say no, this person, da 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 da. But listen, until you become non-negotiable about your goals, it is difficult for you to grow sustainably. So there are times when you need to say no. And listen, I want you to look at it this way. When you say no to something, it is you saying yes to another thing. So saying no to this is opening doors for you to do something else. I recall sometime last year, I looked at it, I was in too many WhatsApp groups. It was distracting. My phone has been on silence for so many years, right? But then you'll be seeing the pop up, different. I had to say, okay. I looked at all the groups. I had to make out time. I didn't do this in a day. It took me a while to get to this. What is this group for? How is it aligned to where I am now and where I intend to go to? And you'll find that some of the groups, you've outgrown them, right? You've outgrown some of them. They are not in that season again. Don't feel guilty to let go. Because sometimes for you to grow into the next level version of yourself, you need to say no to some things. You need to drop some baggages. You can carry everything and then grow. It's difficult. You can't carry all that weight with you and you think you'll be growing. You need to drop some things that are no longer relevant. And that's where you have to do what I call a periodic assessment. You need to do a personal evaluation to know where you are, where you're going to, and what the gaps are. And in this space where you find out your weaknesses or your gaps, this is where you need to do some more work. Yeah, you leverage on the strengths that you have, and then you acknowledge your weaknesses, but don't dwell on them, right? And so if you've not yet learned how to do what I call a SWOT analysis of your life, you want to learn how to do that. You look at the strengths, the weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. My dear, you can't live, and this is not just in Nigeria, you can't just live in the world today as it is without constantly evaluating your environment. Because your environment also needs to be aligned to where you're going to. And that's why you see in recent times we had a lot of the jackpot syndrome. Now, for some, maybe valid, for some, they don't even know why they're jackpot. Just that everyone else is going off, right? So I need to go because everyone else is going. And that's what I want to talk to you again about this night. Don't do things because everyone is doing it. Sometimes you need to dare to be different. You need to dare to stand out from the crowd. And everyone is doing it doesn't mean that is right. You must understand the why of taking an action. Now, if you don't understand the why, the propelling reason that will make you stay put and keep struggling to achieve that goal, the tendency of achieving that goal is limited. Because when pressure comes, when distractions happen, and distraction could come by way of something good happening, don't think that distractions are always negative, right? There may be good things happening, but they're a distraction because they're not moving you towards the required growth line, right? Also, someone is offering an opportunity. By all standards, it's a beautiful opportunity and all of that. But you need to have the self-discipline to critically assess and ask yourself, how does this contribute to moving towards my goal? Or is this a distraction? So not everything shiny, not everything good is what you require. So sometimes you need to say no to some shiny distraction. And there's some distractions, of course, we know. Even social media can be a distraction. Haven't you noticed how you take your phone if you wake up in the morning and you just grab your phone? Before you know it, you're spending 1 hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours, and you can't even account for what you've done. You're just scrolling, reading, laughing, and that's productive hour gone by. So you also want to, in this year, become more intentional about how you use your time. Sometime last year, one of the things that struck me is the importance of effective management as a strategy. And I want to share it with us here before we take a break. Now, effectively managing your resources. What am I talking about? Your time is a resource. Your health is a resource. Your capacity is a resource. So how do you manage your finance is a resource? Now, if you're not effectively able to manage all these resources to achieve your set goal, then there is a challenge. So I want you to begin to think about all the resources at your disposal. Before you cry, oh, I don't have anything, this is not working, and all of that, and all of that, you ask yourself, so what do I really have in my hands? And have I optimized the use before I'm looking for something else? You might not know that you have a lot of low-hanging fruits in your hands while your eyes is fixed on something else because you have conditioned your mind to see certain things from some other person's reference framework. So you're not looking at your particular self, you're not looking at your own context to understand what it is. We call it context mapping. This is very important if you need to have clarity and make effective decisions. You need to have the ability to do what I call a context mapping. And I'll come to that, but that's not a conversation for tonight, right? But I'll come to that much later. So I want to just start reflecting on this. Ask yourself, what are some of the low-hanging fruits that I have? How can I effectively optimize what I have in my hands? And before you say, oh, I don't have anything, I will say, no, pause. There is no one that is empty. I recall this was like 16, 17 years ago when I had a financial crisis and it looked as if everything had gone blank. And that was when it dawned on me that, see, you need to spend time. There's what we call the power of being broke. When you're broke, if you're one that is very intentional, it forces you to think beyond your comfort zone. And I told myself, what do I said, God, I have my intellect. I can train. I can teach. I can facilitate. In fact, that's how my consultancy started. Was from, I said, this is what I have in me, and I can use it to help others. I love the transfer of knowledge, and I know how to do it very effectively. Before I later went back, taking courses to hone my skill. And that's for someone here. There are things you have the ability to do, but you may need to hone that. I will leave you to sit on this. Do not go anywhere. Just, take your reflection, make your notes. We're coming right back. See you shortly.
At JOCC Studio, we offer a range of services to help you curate engaging content. Our state-of-the-art equipment enables us to deliver high-quality course scripting, video content curation, audio recording, video recording, and live or recorded show hosting. Our team is dedicated to helping you bring your vision to life, whether it's a podcast, webinar, or online course. Looking to curate a unique brand identity? Our studio can be customized to reflect your brand's personality and style at an additional cost. Our team will work with you to curate a tailored experience that meets your specific needs and goals. Whether you're a startup, entrepreneur, or established business, we are here to help you achieve your goals. Contact us to learn more about our services and schedule a booking. Thank you for considering Joy ONYESOH Coaching Consult.
Okay, so welcome back. And that was the studio. That's our studio actually. In the Joy Music Coaching Consult, we have a studio. So if you're here and you're thinking, oh, where can I go to shoot my short skit? Where can I go to have my podcast? I want to start a show this year. I want to do some videos, promotional videos. We're here to help you. So you could just use the number on the screen, contact us, and then we will just put you through. So we look forward to supporting you in that new direction you're going to in 2026. And back to our conversation as we prepare to wrap up. Now, I hope you've taken some notes reflecting on how you can effectively utilize resources you have. So how then do you realign for sustainable growth? How then, if you look at it, you can see some of the areas where you need to really realign. This is a good time. This is the beginning of the year. January is almost gone. We're just 2 days into February or so. But not to worry. You still have enough time to get things done. It's not about how far, but more about how well. So how do you realign yourself for sustainable growth in 2026? And how can you position yourself for growth in 2026? The first thing you want to do is to review your goals. I want you to honestly review your goals. In Igbo language, we'll say, let me translate it in English. It says, if you lie to everyone else, you can't lie to yourself. I want you to look at those goals you set for yourself. Now, there's a difference between a wish and a goal. In wishes, we all would have different kinds of wishes. I wish I could fly. I wish I could solve all the world's problem. That's a wish. I can't achieve that. That's not realistic, right? Now, a goal is something that should be strategic, something that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant to your big picture, and is time bound. So once you have a SMART goal, it helps you. So look at your goal again. Look at the goal or goals you set for yourself. One, do I need to, tweak my goals a bit to make sure that it's SMART, that is very specific? Now, the more specific it is, the higher your chances of achieving that goal. What do I mean by this? The more specific your goals are, it means you have a deep understanding of it. You have deep conviction how to go about it. But when your goal is so ambiguous and broad, it becomes so difficult. For instance, if I say, oh, this year, 2026, I'm going to have an increase in income. I'm going to, how do we say that? I'm going to have you see, those things are not goals. It's not specific. Now, for instance, I could say in 2026, I'm going to make sure, I'm going to work towards having 20%, 30% increase in my income. Now that is specific. I know what my benchmark is. So if I earned 10 naira last year, it means I want to earn 30% more this year, right? Then it's easier for you to start working out your pathway to achieving it. Anything you cannot work out a pathway, anything you cannot work out a strategy of how to achieve it, it's difficult to achieve it. So make sure it is specific enough. And if it's specific enough, you can measure. So if I want to achieve 30% increase in income, I can measure. So every month, I will know how many percent I want to earn, right? To make sure that I hit my 30% target. Now, is it achievable? Yes. When I look at the capacity I have and the resources within my scope, I will know if it's achievable or not. So don't set things that will make you go on a wild goose chase that you cannot. Now, is it time bound? I said 2026, so I know I have 12 months to achieve it. I'm not leaving it open-ended. So make sure you look at goals you've set for yourself and look at how you can achieve it. Then you want to look at the distractions. This is where you need to be real to yourself. What distractions do you have? Friends, too many activities, lifestyle, how you spend money, procrastination. You just want to look at some of the distractions you have. And I call this risk to you achieving your goal. So you want to look at the risk. And for me, I call them risk and I put a level to it. Is it low? Is it average? Is it high? Those that are very high, my dear, you want to pay attention to them. Anything that has a high risk that will make you not achieve your goal, you want to pay attention to it and look at what we call mitigating factors, what you can do to reduce the possibility of that thing happening, something that will derail you from your goal. And this way you have to be as sincere as possible to yourself. Apply to your organization as well. If you're an entrepreneur and you're running a business, you can't run a business without having what I call a risk register. You want to look at the different levels of risk. And in every individual and business today, you must always look at the policy environment. I did an analysis on my Facebook page on the speech made by the Prime Minister of Canada at the World Economic Forum. And many of us did not pay attention. Many of us didn't even pay attention to what happened in Davos. But it's going to change a whole lot because the whole lot's already changing. There are new partnerships being forged. There are new realignments. And so you as a business owner, you want to see how that impacts on your business here in Nigeria. What are some of the things you want to put in place right now to build resilience for your business in 2026? So take each day as it comes. You don't have proper structure. You don't have framework. You're just doing things as you go. Listen, the world is evolving so fast. If you want to be in business for the long haul, if you want as an individual to be relevant to your profession for the long haul, you cannot afford to do fluffy stuff, right? And this involves you staying accountable to yourself, accountable to your goal, and all of that. Now, you have to invest in intentional planning. How do you plan yourself? How do you plan your business? You just must invest in intentional planning. And so I'm hoping that with this, you'll be able to really look at what it is you set out for yourself. And if you do not have a retreat, my dear, you need to. So retreat is not just about going away, it's about you sitting in with yourself. There is a personal retreat. There is a team retreat. If you have other people you're working with, you know, the team retreat happens within an organizational retreat. But I want to talk about the personal retreat first and foremost, right? This is very important for every individual. It gives you time to shut out the noise and the distractions. You sit with yourself. You spend time with yourself. You evaluate your life. You look at your purpose. You look at what you have achieved, where you want to go to. It's a total overhaul of yourself and the actions you've taken. You need to be very sincere with yourself. And as you're doing it, you're writing. And if you're a believer, you know, that's one of the things the Holy Spirit helps us with. He tells you, he teaches you, he points out things to you. Daniel 2:22 says God is the revealer of mysteries. He's the giver of profound knowledge. So why don't you go to him and ask him to give you direction for 2027? Trust me, you cannot go wrong at all. So I'm hoping that this would help you start strong and run in 2026. Make out time periodical. And I want to ask you before I leave, what are you going to do differently as a result of this conversation we've had tonight? You know, one of my greatest desire is putting out actionable content that you can implement right away. So what are you going to do differently? Write it down. Habakkuk 2 says, write down the vision, make it clear, so that all who reads it may run with it, which includes you. So if you write it down periodically, you revisit and see if there is anything you need to change, if you're on track and all of that. So make it a point of duty to regularly evaluate yourself. Even God, when he created, the Bible records that anytime after years, each day creation, they will look at it and evaluate and say, and it is very good, right? So you need to form the habit of looking at the things you've done and saying it is very good. And if it's not very good, then you need to tweak it and know how to make it better. I hope this helped. The Life Strategy Hub says, deal with all distractions. Exactly. You need to learn how to deal with distraction. Confidence says, invest in intentional planning. Awesome. I love this. Keep it coming in. And, you know, we have the studio here. We also have our conference room. So if you have a small team or you have a group and you're looking for a serene space where you can have a retreat, where you can sit and plan, we have that space for you. Enjoy your ONYESOH coaching consult, right? We have a conference room. We even have a residential area where you can stay with your small team. Yeah, we have a residential area that can take up to 8 persons. All the rooms are ensuite, and then you have the conference room to sit with your team and do your planning. And, you know, don't miss the opportunity. And if you have maybe a workshop that you have about 10 to 15 persons, we can host you as well. Everything fully catered for. We have 247 power supply. And in this 2027, make it a duty to do something differently. You want a different result, then do something differently. Try to be more structured in your approach. I hope God keeps you, blesses you. Remember to smell the roses, enjoy your weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next week, Friday. Do not go anywhere. Please give us your feedback. What would you love to see on Friday Night Hangout for 2026? Please write it down in the comment section, and you can be sure I will
Welcome to Joy ONYESOH Coaching Consult, where creativity meets productivity. Located in a serene and easily accessible environment, our facility is designed to inspire and support your personal and professional growth. Our air-conditioned boardroom is perfect for meetings, workshops, and presentations. Equipped with a projector, 24/7 light supply, and comfortable seating, it can accommodate up to 15 persons in a boardroom setting or more in a theater setting. Whether you're hosting a corporate event or a private gathering, our boardroom provides the ideal space to connect and collaborate.
This is